Right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take some time to sort of step back and take stock of Rebel Moon and Zack Snyder. Now, I'm not here to say that it performed appallingly. I'm not. But we've got to put it into perspective. It didn't do as great as what people are saying it did. So I think it's important. I think this is important to kind of take a look at, rather than just blowing smoke up people's bumholes. So the movie itself, whatever you think of the movie, we're not here to review it specifically. We're here to take a look at the initial interest, and this is based on Netflix's own numbers, stuff which they have released themselves. And the interest isn't massive, and I don't think Netflix will be massively happy with this simply because they sunk a lot of money into this film, or two films, should I say. And there's a comparable film to this, The Killer, for instance, which has arguably similar age range audience. Not the same audience, but it's the same age range audience that it's going for. And that cost significantly less for Netflix and the production, and it performed better. So remember, this is Zack Snyder's big stab at the sort of box office market, I guess. It's his fantastical Star Wars Warhammer 40k thing. And for it to perform as bad as it did, because it's not as good as it should be, I don't think Netflix will be massively happy with it. So let's take a look. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Again, you can like the film. Absolutely, I can see what he was doing with it. It's not my personal cup of tea. I didn't like it. I thought it was a bit crap. But you can like it. You know, there's no reason why you guys can't like it. This isn't here to talk about it. I've already reviewed it. But we're just going to take a look at the interest. And I do think Netflix have gambled a lot on Zack Snyder, thinking there was a higher interest, and there just isn't. And what will be really interesting will be the drop off between part 1 and part 2. That'll be telling, because I don't think a lot of people actually finished the film. And when we see the drop off from part 1 to part 2, that'll tell us how many people could not be bothered to even finish part 1. Because remember, they don't reveal that, whether people even finished it. So, director Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire, took the top spot on Netflix for English language films in the week of its release, but it performed worse than both Adam Sandler's animated film Leo and the Michael Fassbender film The Killer, which I actually really liked. The Killer, I thought it was a good film. This article is on That Park Place. I'll leave it linked down below. Do check out their website, they're very good. So Netflix released its top 10 charts for the week of December 18th through to December 24th, and Snyder's Rebel Moon film took the top spot with 23.9 million views and 54.1 million hours viewed. So the film has a runtime of 2 hours and 16 minutes. So that's important to note when you're looking at 54.1 million hours viewed. So here's the numbers, 23.9 million views. So if you turn the clock back just a month, Adam Sandler starred in the film Leo, which debuted on Netflix at number 1 as well, and it had 34.6 million views with 61.7 million hours viewed, and the runtime was significantly shorter at 1 hour 47 minutes, which means more people were tuning in for longer. And obviously they were, because there's more views. Now this, I don't think this is necessarily a fair comparison, because again it's a different market, right? It is absolutely a different market that they're looking to sort of coin there. It's children, and children will just sit there and just constantly watch things non-stop. But there's also this one. Again, not massively comparable, but still there. So you have the holiday film Family Switch, which had Jennifer Garner. And that nearly beat Rebel Moon with 22.2 million views and 39.2 million hours viewed. So, different. The hours are less. You know, significantly less, but still beat it on views, nearly. And then we'll scroll down, and then this is the real one. This is the real killer, you might say. I think this is the real comparable one, personally. So the film also performed worse than The Killer, starring Michael Fassbender. The Killer debuted on Netflix at the beginning of November with 27.9 million views and 55.7 million hours viewed. Now, the film is a 2-hour runtime. 2-hour runtime. Now, interestingly, the second week, the film remained at the top with another 22.3 million views and 44.5 million hours viewed. So good word of mouth on that. And I do wonder what the drop-off will be with Zack Snyder's, whether it will stay at the top. So if you look at the most popular films on Netflix, Rebel Moon will likely never enter the top 10 list. So the most watched English language film is Red Notice. That had 230.9 million views and 454.2 million hours viewed, which is absolutely incredible. And there's other films as well, like Extraction, for instance. 135.7 million views, which is just crazy. Absolutely crazy. You have Glass Onion, Knives Out, 136.3 million. Grey Man, 139.3 million, which is a film which they worked exclusively with the Russo brothers on. So there's all these films here. The Adam Project, 157.6 million. A lot of films. It'll be fascinating to see what happens moving forwards. And that's the true test. That'll be our test of whether this film is anything special in the grander audience, right? I'm not saying it's not special to people that like Zack Snyder. We're just talking about the grander audience, because that's what's important. We already knew Snyder fans were going to turn up for this. Right, we already knew that. So Netflix, what we watched, a Netflix engagement report, which tracks watch hours between January and June 2023, shows The Mother's total hours watched was 249.9 million. The film was released on May 12th. So most of the film's hours watched was done in the first month. So that's important. That means only 16 million hours were watched since June. So this, again, that's the teller, right? Is most people watch it straight up. They watch it straight away and then they don't bother watching it again. Like most people would, to be fair. Repeat watching doesn't really tend to happen that much. So it'll be fascinating to see what happens with Rebel Moon, because I think there'll be a huge drop-off. And I'm not saying just in terms of view time. I think it's the drop-off in terms of the viewership from part 1 to part 2. I think that will actually tell us. It's got an average rating of 5.7 out of 10 on IMDb. Not massively great, to be fair. Pretty mid. And pretty mid on Rotten Tomatoes as well. 64% audience score. I mean, that is mid, right? Slightly positive, but still mid. Metacritic, again, mid. 5.8. Mid to positive, but still mid. So it'll be interesting to see, because again, Netflix gambled big on Zack Snyder. And I think they overestimated, quite frankly. I think they overestimated his draw, his pull with the sort of grander audience. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments section. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So anyway, cheers guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.